Hello and welcome into the Section 109 podcast. Here from Studio Breezy, as always, I'm joined by Sir Mix-a-Lot, Bobble Juan, my co-host Matthew, and we are here on a special game day edition, Matthew, to talk about a season of big change. But also, we're on all the podcast platforms, the YouTubes. Like it, comment, subscribe. Please make us happy as podcasters. All the same thing everybody asks for. And then, Matthew, let's preview this game. Usually we do game reviews. If you don't know who we are, better for you that you don't know who we are. But we do game reviews, we do long-form interviews, and we make content about CFC. So, Matthew, take me through this off-season of change, because I feel like it's been a massive, massive off-season.
Yeah, it really has. To set the scene for you, this is the fourth ever meeting of CFC and Atlanta United. There was the preseason game back in 2017. There was the Open Cup game back in 2022. The most recent was a 3-3 draw at Finley Stadium in January of 2023. And now here we are. And yeah, off-season to change is a really good way to describe, honestly, both teams. But let's start with CFC. You've got a new technical director now in Sebastian Giraldo. You've got a new head coach, though it's a familiar face, in Chris Nugent. And you've had about a dozen departures from the men's squad. Those dozen departures adding up to just over 500 appearances for the club.
Whoa, that's a lot, Matt.
Now, with that change brings some new faces. So welcome back, Tate Robertson.
Welcome back, Tate.
Veteran of the 2021 and 2022 seasons. You've also got new midfielders such as Steve Louis-Jean, Nick Mendonça. You've got attackers like Amzian, Sid Mohand, and Peter Plogmand, hoping to supercharge the attack. Not only that, but you have an elder statesman, a Premier League veteran, in Eldin Jakupovic, joining the team.
It's not often that you add a player to CFC with Premier League minutes. That's wild.
Yeah, he becomes instantly the most decorated, highest level player in his career to ever play for CFC.
Now, we don't know a lot, and on this podcast, we really like knowing a lot about the tactics and how we're going to set up and how things are going to go. But Chris Nugent, even though he is a familiar face, he is a new head coach for us. We got a little preview in Toronto last year and on decision day as he was interim head coach, but we really don't know exactly how he's going to play, except we did ask him a lot of questions, some of which he answered and some of which he did the coach speak thing, but we do have a few ideas of how he's going to play. However, it's the preseason, and do you think we're going to have all our guys?
Well, yeah, let's start off with, I think there's probably 6 positions left. Now, whether those are starters or backups or whatever remains to be seen. But there's still a decent amount of this squad that is not, fully signed and rostered yet. So we don't have a clear idea in terms of the personnel policy that I like to say. But what I do think we will see is, in terms of changes from 2024, I think we'll be a little bit quicker in transition moments. I think we'll look to rely less on having control of the ball in terms of being able to affect the game. I think we're going to be a little bit more reactive, a little bit quicker to take advantage of, high lines and things like that we often see in this league. And hopefully it'll lead to the kind of success that we want to see.
Something worth noting too is, since this is the first preseason game for either team, it is unlikely that the starters are going to go 90 minutes. We've seen in this exact game in previous seasons a 45-minute and 45-minute approach where you see like a line change at halftime with 11 subs. So it's going to be really difficult to take a lot out of this game. I will also add that this is not only the first preseason game, but this is the MLS team versus an MLS Next Pro team. And so it's going to be tough to learn and take out too much away from either team's performance in predicting the future. If we go out and smack Atlanta United and win 5-0, it's unlikely that that's going to be exactly what happens in every game this season. And if we lose 5-0, also nothing to be super worried about.
Are you saying that we should not read into what happens in a game where like 44 different players play?
Correct.
Well, that seems less fun. Let's talk about Atlanta United for a second. This is a club that's also gone under a ton of change. So back in June 2024, they fired Gonzalo Pineda, the head coach. They subsequently sold two of their best attackers, including a World Cup winner in Thiago Almeida.
I've heard of that guy.
Then they went on this kind of improbable run, snuck into the playoffs, beat Montreal in the wild card match away from home, and then beat Inter Miami, led by, some soccer player you've may have heard of named Lionel Messi, in a 3-game series before bowing out in the Eastern Conference semifinals against Orlando. Since then, Atlanta has brought in a new sporting director in Chris Henderson, architect of some really great Seattle teams, as well as the Inter Miami team that just won the Supporter Shield. They brought in a new head coach in Ronnie Deila, who won an MLS Cup with New York City FC a few years ago. And at the time of recording, is rumored to be bringing back former superstar Miguel Almiron, and as a verbal agreement, according to Tom Bogert, to make Emmanuel Latelath the potential MLS record inbound transfer as a new striker addition.
I remember Miguel Almiron. He made his debut when Atlanta United made their entire debut in Chattanooga in 2017.
You are correct.
And I asked a few players after the game, who was the player that stood out to you? These were CFC players I was asking, and they were like number 10. And then he tore up MLS the rest of that season.
Now, a word of caution that we are not recording live. So those two deals might be done. They also might be dead. That's kind of the fun of it.
Yes, it is.
But what is clear is that after reportedly making something like $40 million in transfers this summer, Atlanta is going to be spending money to reinvest and to rebuild their squad. Now, I can't end this segment talking about Atlanta without also talking back center back Noah Cobb. That's a former CFC Academy player who's been in the Atlanta system for the last few years. He played a huge part in the 2024 season and was not really expected to. 23 senior team games for Atlanta. There were a lot of injuries. He did a heck of a lot of really good work for them in a year where he started the year at 18 and then turned 19 midway through the season. So I imagine we will see him on the field today.
I would think so. So after today's match, CFC will continue their preseason. We will play a closed-door away game at Birmingham. Boo Birmingham for having that be closed doors. I would like to go to Tuscaloosa again. That would be fun. We will also play one Knoxville at home and the North Carolina Tar Heels at home. And then there'll be a season ticket holder-only match against the Tennessee Tempo, who we have seen a few times in the past few preseasons. The regular season will come after that, where we chase that elusive title.
First the playoffs. And then let's make moves.
I'm skipping all reality, and I'm saying we're chasing a title.
I love to hear it. On the Atlanta United side of things, they're going to head to Birmingham next weekend before heading to Florida to get some sun or maybe some snow. It
was snowing in Florida. It might still be.
They will be playing New England Revolution and FC Cincinnati while in Florida. They will close preseason versus FC Dallas. And before you know it, in just 4 short weeks, they will make their 2025 regular season debut at home versus Montreal.
I hope you've enjoyed this special edition game day preview Section 109 podcast. If you would like to find us, we are in all the places that podcasts can be found, and we'd love to have you as a listener or watcher. And if not, see you in Finley Stadium. Peace.